Welcome back to Rockstock Channel. It is Friday, April 4th, and we are back with another installment in our Getting to Know You series. Today, we have Alex Wylie, CEO of Volt Lithium, which trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, ticker symbol VLT.V, and on the OTCQB, ticker symbol VLTLF. Volt Lithium is a development and technology company that seeks to become one of North America's first commercial producers of lithium from oilfield brine. I met Alex at Benchmark Minerals events in New York late last year and again at PDAC in Toronto last month. In an era of ever-rising capital intensity for lithium development projects, especially DLE players, I was intrigued by Volt's differentiated strategy based on two main pillars: partnering with existing oil producers to source raw lithium units that are already being pumped but is currently considered waste, and processing these lithium units in the immediate term to lithium chemicals for industrial uses rather than the battery grade market, in particular for the underserved USA industrial market. This strategy holds potential to be very low CAPEX, relatively quick to market, and scalable. For more information about Volt Lithium, you could visit their website, voltlithium.com, and you could follow Volt on X at Volt Lithium. Volt's current stock price is 28 Canadian cents, and its market cap about 46 million Canadian dollars or 33 million US dollars. For disclosure purposes, Rodney and I are not strategic advisors to, nor invested in Volt. And of course, we are not financial advisors, and nothing in this video should be considered investment advice. Please do your own research and read the disclaimer at the end of this video. Note that a written summary of this interview will be published in the next edition of RK Equity's Lithium Ion Bull. Please register your email at rkequity.com if you'd like to receive this newsletter directly to your email box. And please make sure to like this video, subscribe to Rockstock Channel, and leave a question or comment below. What do you think of Volt Lithium's prospects? What other companies might you be interested to hear from on the channel? And with that intro out of the way, welcome Alex for the first time to Rockstock Channel. Please start by telling us a little bit about your background, what attracted you to Volt Lithium, and then Rodney will dig in deeper with some questions.
Well, thank you. The background on Volt Lithium is Volt Lithium is focused on extracting lithium from oilfield brines. What we've seen in North America is the oil industry, especially in the Permian Basin in Texas, produces 20 million barrels of water a day, every day, and there's lithium in that water. When we started up our business back in 2021, we're all from the team is from the oil field industry with a particular focus on chemistry. And we believed that there was an opportunity to extract lithium from the brine from oil fields. We rapidly went from a pilot or from a lab scale company where we were processing 5 liters at a time. And we've scaled up in 2 years to in the February, we're processing 11,000 barrels of water a day. So we've had a significant scale up in a very short period of time to extract lithium.
Alex, thanks for that intro. Rodney will get into the questions, but can you just give us a little bit about your background? Investors that don't know you so well yet, I met you again at the Benchmark events, but you're new to the lithium scene and within the industry. So how did you who are you? How did you come about, entering, this company? And
And I mean,
what's the history of Volt Lithium, as a publicly listed entity? Was it always in lithium or was it doing something else before it started doing lithium?
yeah, Volt Lithium has always done lithium. I'm one of the founders. There's 3 founders of Volt Lithium. What we developed was a technology to extract lithium from the oilfield brines. My team comes from the oil industry. We realized that there's lithium in oilfield brines, and we saw a solution where the business could extract lithium from water that's already being produced today. This is my 8th business. So I've done this before, know how to build businesses, know how to run businesses. We come at it from a different perspective, as you mentioned. I mean, we're not from the mining industry. We're from the oil and gas industry. When I look at direct lithium extraction, I look at you're trying to extract a mineral from a liquid, and it's a water volume game. Soft rock mining, if you want to call it, the oil and gas industry is all about fluid movement. So it makes perfect sense that someone from the oil industry with a chemistry and technology team would enter into the lithium industry.
And Alex, just to be clear, your technology is proprietary, and Volt owns 100% of that technology. Is that correct?
That is correct. We own 100% of the technology for extraction. We also own the technology for processing, which is equally as important. One thing to extract lithium, but in order to do it scale, you have to have a process, and we have a proprietary process that we developed in-house.
Right. And so your business model is slightly different from other DLE companies in that you're utilizing the existing infrastructure already available in the oil field rather than having to drill wells and pump material out and then back in the field. So by my reckoning, this reduces CapEx spend materially. Can you just elaborate a bit further on that?
Absolutely. I mean, when I look at other lithium companies that are trying to get off the ground, in order to get to production, the numbers range anywhere from 1 billion to 2 billion in CapEx prior to actually producing lithium. And the reason is you've got to drill the wells, you've got to build the infrastructure, you've got to build your processing plant. You have to do all that before you can start processing lithium. The oil industry has already done that. They produce water every day through their infrastructure. So our view is don't focus on building infrastructure that's already in place. Focus on what's there and extract lithium from water that's being produced today.
Right. And your targeted OpEx that I saw in the presentation is really low given the indicated lithium grades in the brine. How is your technology able to deliver those low OpEx costs?
Well, there's a fundamental difference between what we do and other companies do. So, in order, 40% of your costs for a lithium OpEx are actually the lifting costs, getting it from downhole to the processing facility. You've got to lift the water, you've got to move the water. There's a lot of infrastructure and transportation and costs that go into that. We don't bear any of those costs. So, we are fundamentally have lower costs than the competition because we don't have those costs.
Right. And so you have a field pilot currently running that's delivering good results. What are the stats from that operation, and what improvements have you seen, changing over time?
Yeah, the main what we've so from a from a operating perspective right now, what we've done is we've built a modular system. And so just to take it back, in the summer of 24, we were capable of processing 1,000 barrels a day. By the fall of 2024, we were capable of processing 2,500 barrels a day. In Q1 of this year, we announced that we are processing 11,500 barrels of brine a day. So we've scaled up significantly. Our system's modular, and so our ability to continue to scale up is significant. What we're able to do that's different than other direct lithium extraction companies is we don't need to build infrastructure. We bolt on to infrastructure that's in place. So for us to scale up, we can do it from a modular perspective and we can grow very quickly. Our target is to be providing customers with product as we move into 2026. Customers are looking for their allocations for 26 now, and we're going to be in a position to provide product to them from the US.
And Alex, what products is that field operation or your future operations capable of producing? And have you the stuff that you are producing, is that currently being qualified with potential downstream buyers?
So when I look at production, Our process and our system today produces lithium chloride. You can sell lithium chloride as a product, okay, as an industrial product. What we're able to do, the way I see the steps and the products that you're able to produce, we're doing lithium chloride today. We're building a unit to do lithium carbonate. We've started building carbonate in-house today. So we can do lithium chloride, which is a saleable product. We're producing lithium carbonate, and we're also being able to produce lithium hydroxide. We don't need the scale that others have talked about because we don't need the CAPEX up front. So when we're targeting customers, we don't need to have a 20,000 ton customer. We can have customers that need 500 tons, 1,000 tons. So we've got a much more flexible business model to provide products to their future customers.
Right. And your technology has produced consistent results across multiple jurisdictions. So where to from here?
Well, so you're correct. So when I look at different jurisdictions, we can tailor our technology to what we call higher concentration lithiums, and that's a function of load factor. So what that means is if you look at the Marcellus that has lithium parts per million in the 350 to 400, that's a function of load factor for our technology versus a different process. So we've designed our process to treat lithium from oilfield brines, and concentration we can vary depending on the concentration of the oilfield brine. So what I see for us is a significant opportunity. In terms of where to from here, well, I'm in Texas as we speak. The Permian Basin produces 20 million barrels of water a day. That's the equivalent of 200,000 tons. The opportunity in the Permian Basin, Texas, is significant, and we're addressing it here and now. We are processing lithium today.
Right. And I did see some proposed plans. If you can give the viewers an idea of what it works out to on a CAPEX cost per ton of LCE?
I mean, what we've put into on our website is about 20,000 a ton. Now, people will say, well, that doesn't seem realistic. That's way too low compared to everyone else. And there's a fundamental reason. We're not spending the money on the CAPEX on the infrastructure up front. That is a significant cost to the CAPEX. Drilling those wells, building those infrastructure, building those plants. We don't do any of that. So we've got a fundamentally different cost structure than if you're trying to do it from scratch, drilling your own wells and developing a reservoir.
Right. So, talking of that, so last year you placed shares with an undisclosed company. Does that company, which you have a relationship with, have substantial oil brines available for you to process?
They absolutely do. And we've got a great relationship with our partner. Um, obviously at this point I haven't disclosed the name. What I can say is that there are a number of substantial um, groups that basically process water in the Permian Basin. And the opportunity is to work with the groups that are processing water. When an oil company produces oil, for every barrel of oil in the Permian, there's 3 barrels of water. The oil company can't sell that oil until they deal with the water. They have to dispose of it somehow. So if you can imagine the infrastructure in the oil industry, you start with a producing well that's got producing oil and water. That water goes through a series of infrastructure and pipelines to get to what's called a saltwater disposal facility. And at the saltwater disposal facility, the water is injected back in the ground. This has happened for 100 years. It's safe. It's environmentally responsible. Where we come in on the equation is we redirect that water at the saltwater disposal facility through our operation. We give it back to them, and they inject the water safely in the ground. This is happening with 20 million barrels a day in the Permian today. So when I look at what our partners doing, what groups are doing out here, there's just so much water. We're turning effectively a cost center for oil companies into a revenue center through the extraction of lithium, which I believe is going to be very significant as we move forward.
And talking of that, you're saying it's a cost to them. If you can disclose, what are the terms or costs that Volt pays, for utilizing and processing these brines?
So what I can say on a high level basis, because we haven't given terms of our transaction, the way we look at it is groups get paid to take away the water. So um, the water for an oil company is a cost center. For other companies like midstreamers, that's already a revenue center for them when they're processing the water. So for the oil company, I see a scenario where we're not paying for the water. We're turning that into a revenue stream and we share in the upside of the revenue stream. For midstreamers, I see them already getting paid for their water. And so I see an opportunity to get another revenue stream for midstreamers. So there's a lot of water being moved, and we're going to create a revenue center for groups.
Right. And you've recently secured a grant in North Dakota to perform a field study. If you can, what are the details of the grant and the expected timing of that project?
So what we've done in North Dakota, so when I look at the US in terms of basins that produce water, the largest is in Texas, the Permian Basin, where there's 20 million barrels of water produced every day. The second largest is the Bakken in North Dakota that produces 2 million barrels of water a day. The state of North Dakota is very interested and very excited about finding other opportunities for revenue streams for critical minerals from the Bakken in North Dakota, and that's where we come in. So the grant is to put in place a field study to test the basically viability of extracting lithium from the Bakken. The way I see it is that the Permian is our primary focus because of the volumes of water there. The Bakken is our next focus. We want to lock up basins with our technology so that we can strategically grow our business.
Right. And in terms of that growth, that is your first full-scale commercial unit will be able to process approximately 100,000 barrels per day. Depending on grade, that should produce somewhere between 900 and 1,600 tons per year. How long will it take? How long does it take to construct a unit of that size?
So, I mean, what we've done in our website in our presentation, we've given an example of a 100,000 barrel a day unit. What I see happening is we have a modular based system. So, as an example, that system today as we announced, is 11,500 barrels per day of production. Now, for us to grow this system here from 11,000 to 40,000, we just need to add more modules to our system. So the way we see ourselves growing is modularly expanding, matching the output or the amount that's being disposed of per saltwater disposal facility to our lithium processing facility. So if there's a facility that processes 100,000 barrels a day, we'll match it. If the facility does 20 to 30,000, we'll match it. The key is matching the disposal to our lithium processing capabilities. So although we use 100,000 as an example, that doesn't mean we need to be at 100,000 barrels a day to be in commercial production. We will just build modules. So what we've done is we've demonstrated that we can build the module and process the water. And now it's about adding more modules and continuing our ability to execute to match saltwater disposal facilities.
Okay, great. But just to give us an idea on how long it takes to install.
So we built our facility, our first facility that I would say our first small scale commercial facility. We started it in early January and we built it by mid-February. Took us about 5 weeks.
Okay, so really quick. And I mean, you're going to have multiple locations. Is there any sort of infrastructure or other limiting factor that could cap your upside expansion, even though it's modular? Or can you just keep rolling out?
Well, within 30 miles from where I sit right now, you go 30 miles down the road, you go 30 miles up the road, there's 9.5 million barrels of water being processed within 30 miles. The amount of water that's being processed in the oil industry is significant. We're not the only thing that's capping us is investment dollars to build this out. And that's why we're partnering with the oil industry. We want to partner with the oil industry, share the cost, demonstrate our capabilities so that we can turn what might be considered a cost center, being water, into a revenue center for people, which is significant.
Okay, great. Howard?
Okay, yeah, thanks. Very interesting, Alex. I guess just some questions about your capital structure, cash, milestones over the next kind of couple of years. So I guess how much cash do you have as of last quarterly filing?
Yeah, as of the last quarterly filing, we raised money in November. We raised 6.5 million. Okay. Our year end is December 31st, so we don't have our latest filing out. But I can say we raised 6.5 million in November, and we received an additional $2 million grant in just in the past few weeks.
Who was that grant from?
It was from the state of North Dakota.
Okay. Um, Interesting. Okay, so that recent financing in November, what was the price, and was there any warrant attached to it?
So it was a 31-cent financing and
Okay,
a
and the
44-cent half warrant. Yes.
44-cent half warrant. And were there any brokers involved? I mean, I mean, you're a Canadian listed company. Your operations are here in the US. I mean, it says Calgary, I guess, as a headquarters, but you're not really, you're operating in the US, but you are from a corporate point of view, Canadian companies. So any brokers out of Canada or the US who helped you with that financing, or did you do that just on your own?
No, for the last financing, we used a group called Canaccord Genuity. So
Never heard of them.
yeah, all right. So yeah, so what's happening, Howard, is we're going through a transition as we speak. Um, we've commenced our operations here in Texas. We're in the process of redomiciling the company. I'm formally living down here. I've got my US visa now, and our plan and execution is to build our business here in Texas. We will
Okay.
follow that with North Dakota and the Bakken as a second stage, but our focus today is s- uh, you know, building our lithium operations here in Texas and selling to U.S. customers.
Okay, great. You said this is your eighth business. What were some of the other seven businesses that you built?
I've done multiple oil and gas companies. Earlier in my career, I was in the investment industry, um, team management team, part of that in a sale component. I've done other individual businesses as well. Um, yeah, I've done quite a few businesses in my past.
And you're Canadian, like you're born and raised, in Calgary, or where? Just curious.
Yeah, I originally born in Toronto and moved to Calgary 20 plus years ago. Um, the thing is, just when I look at where we're at uh, in Texas, Canada just doesn't have anything quite like this. There's nowhere else in the world where I've seen 20 million barrels of water production a day. The opportunity for not only Volt but also for the U.S. is significant. We're going to create a domestic supply of lithium production here.
Hmm. So what is different about the oil production, I guess, in the Permian and the Bakken compared to the oil production in Canada that's producing all this water? Is this just like, unconventional fracked resources? Is like, why is this not available in Canada?
There is production in Canada. You bet there is. Um, and there is lithium that gets produced from that. There's lithium in that water in Canada as well. When I look at our scenario, um, I've just found that we ran a pilot in 2023, and we received some interest in Canada. We received a lot of interest from U.S. players. The Permian Basin it just isn't like any other basin that I've seen. Um, the amount of oil being produced in the Permian is significant. There's a 45-year drilling inventory down here to go. The Permian is going to be around for a very long time, and it's really driving growth for oil production in the U.S. We have the oil sands in Canada, but the oil sands don't have the associated water production that the Permian does. So this is a unique place, and it's significant, and it's an opportunity for Americans to capitalize on lithium production.
Excellent. So what can investors or people watching, expect in the next kind of couple of months and quarters in terms of news flow?
Well, what we're doing right now, we've been providing basically a playbook of where we're going. So we announced in the beginning of this year that we've commenced production. We announced that we got up to 11,500. We announced that we've got our extraction results. Where I see us going over the next 6 to 12 months is we're going to formally transition ourselves from where we are now to commercial operations. And I expect us to start announcing customers as we move into the back half of this year, groups that want to buy our production in 2025 and 2026. They'll be very limited in 25, but as we move into 26, customers need their allocations, and we see an opportunity to provide it from a domestic source as opposed to a foreign source.
Okay, great. Look, we know we've been following the DLE stories like Standard Lithium and a few others, in Arkansas and Exxon and Coke, as well as in Alberta E3, but Texas is the big prize, according to what a lot of people are saying, but there hasn't been so much activity. So a lot of secretive activity kind of going on in Texas. So look forward to watching the news flow and your story unfold in what is bit of a chaotic time in the markets, thanks to our president and Mr. Tariff Man. But I did speak to another Canadian earlier today, and they said, a huge amount of investment out of Canada is actually coming into the U.S. So that pretty much is your fundamental philosophy. Good luck with getting your U.S. citizenship, and look forward to your success and bringing those dollars, into America. Thanks very much, Alex, for this introduction to Volt Lithium. Look forward to following your progress and having you back on the program, as news flow warrants.
Really appreciate your time as well. And I'll just leave one thing. We're doing it today in the field. And so we're really excited to grow our business and really look forward to continued discussions with you.
Okay. Well, as things become less secret, maybe we could fly out to Texas and do some on-site video production. Anyway, have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye now.